What is going on, everybody? I am back. I wanted to bring a different type of video to you guys today, so no news, nothing really outside of the norm except for Ravecoin, which I already covered last night. But what I wanted to talk about, I saw an interesting post on X by user 0x Reflection. Um, it says, "Hope you all learned your lesson," and then it gives a GIF of about 8 to 10 different coins that have flatlined, which were once top 10 coins. I would assume most of these were top 10 coins at one point. I'm pretty sure. But what I wanted to talk about is, what do you guys think would be the next coin to join this list? Now, I was looking at the top 20 coins, and then I wanted to look at one in particular, which is tabbed up top. It might make some people angry. I know it was pretty popular a few years ago, during the Elon Musk era of crypto, where anything Elon Musk would touch would pump to, or not even just touch, but tweet about anything would turn into an absolute uh, pump fest. I wanted to talk about the top 20 coins here. Which one stood out to me most as like pure flatline? Now, Dogecoin was one that particularly stood out to me because I don't think that, like, outside of its, you know, influencer type investors, which being Elon Musk would probably be the number one link to Dogecoin. I don't think it has too much going on for it. And there hasn't been much hype about it in a while. And one thing about meme coins is it takes a certain amount of hype to really keep going. And I know Dogecoin, from what I previously researched, has an endless supply, so it's not capped at 1 billion like a lot of coins are. So with that said, the supply is ever growing, and I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing unless it's constantly being bought and used for something outside of what I looked up was tipping and micropayments. So content creators will get tipped online, which to me is like minuscule and like really has not a big, like, I don't know, it doesn't move the market at all for a coin, something for people to actually invest in rather than just pump. I don't think that Dogecoin's positioned well for the next super cycle, just based off the fact that, like, I don't want to say it's dying, but it's not Dogecoin as we remember Dogecoin back in like 2021ish, 22. I remember the grand Super Bowl pump, when everybody thought that there was going to be a Dogecoin commercial for the Super Bowl, and then that never ended up happening, and Dogecoin dropped like, I don't remember the exact number, but it had to have been at least 25% within like an hour after pumping to the absolute moon. Um, so for me personally, Dogecoin would be on that list just to be weary of. I don't think that it necessarily, like, when I'm comparing it to coins that I'm invested in, like, if I'm gonna go meme coin for meme coin, like even DRB might have better fundamentals than Dogecoin, because DRB, has one, essentially a large burned wallet just from the Grok. Um, what word am I looking for? From the fees that Grok earns off of buying and selling, from its holders. So I believe it was, last time I checked, almost at $1 million for his wallet, which sitting at, um, Actually, I think it was closer to 500,000, but still, like sitting at less than $10 million market cap, a wallet that size being essentially a burned wallet is massive. Um, Coins under a million, you'll see a lot of burned wallets, but those sit at under a million, and in the grand scheme of like a fully diluted market value, like that is not as much as you would think it is. So with if I'm comparing it meme coin for meme coin, personally, I think DRB has better fundamentals, even sitting at a ginormous fraction of what Dogecoin sits at. Um, then one with the same kind of style, but I think might have a little bit better fundamentals than Dogecoin is actually Shiba Inu. I know that they have their own kind of ecosystem going on, but another thing for me, like I just don't see it re-exploding. Like it exploded once, and I don't think that we're headed towards that type of market again. Like things pumped altcoins into the moon a few years ago, and I don't necessarily think like one thing about crypto is it's not repetitive. So every super cycle you don't see the same coins like pump back up into the moon. That's why there's a graveyard in this GIF. Like during these super cycles you'll see things pump and then they won't pick back up. So like personally, I think that those are going to fall into the same category just because like some of these coins even had decent fundamentals, like Cosmos being one of them. I thought always had good fundamentals, even though personally it is a shit coin. I mean, it's got good APY for staking, and I know that there was some push around it before, but now it's just kind of dead and it's meh. There's not much going on, and these are all top 100 coins that are flatlined and aren't going anywhere. Like I said in a recent video, like Atom is just not going anywhere, and it's still ahead of a coin that I'm heavily invested into for my portfolio size. It's not, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money, but for myself it is a heavy holder of my portfolio percentage, which would be Venice. So like Venice to me has outstanding fundamentals and still hasn't hit that grand pop yet. So I don't think that I'm not going to put that into that category of things that could potentially flatline like this, because I think that it's still going to at least 2 or 3x from where it is. But just an interesting thought. I wanted to throw this video out there because I do think that Dogecoin falls into a category where it's going to start looking something like this, just because it's ever the supply is not capped. Same thing with Shiba Inu. I'm not sure if the supply is capped. I think it is, but still, I don't see it, catching the crypto world by storm. Like when Shiba Inu listed off of Coinbase a few years ago, that's when it 15x'd in a matter of hours. So like, just leave a comment. What do you guys think is going to end up flatlining like one of these coins? Personally, I gave you guys my 2 opinions. I'm sure there's others in that top 20 that could fall into the same category, but the 2 big ones that I think I'm seeing red flags from since what was going on, and the initial volume and hype, because that's something that those coins heavily rely on, is hype, volume, and meme power, which isn't a very big for me, it's not a very big thing to invest my money on, is meme power. I like to look at fundamentals of coins, even in different categories. So anyways, like I said, just leave a comment. What do you guys think falls into this category? If you've watched this long, please drop a subscribe, a like on the video, and again, comment what you guys think. So I'm out of here. I was going to make a video on Rave, but it didn't work out. So you guys have a good day.